Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Pierre Roberge, the Daily Trader. It is Sunday, January 8th at almost 3:30 in the afternoon, and we are live. This is a public live because I do a public live once a month and at the beginning of the month. So this is the beginning of the month because we did not do a live on January 1st. So, and the other Sundays of the month, I am doing my live only for my members. So you can check in the membership, what is it called in YouTube? Membership thing, YouTube membership. You can go there and you can look at my different tiers that I have. So so what we are going to do today for the new people that might join in is that we are going to look at Tesla, VIX, Dow Jones, S&P 500, and also NASDAQ. We are going to look at all of them briefly on the daily chart and a little bit more extensively on the weekly chart to see if to see the bigger trend. The daily chart gives us a daily trend, and we are going to look at the weekly trend. Sometimes we see some things that are quite interesting, and sometimes we don't. So we don't know until we look, and this is what we are going to do today. So you can also, because this is a live, you can join me, on the chat here. So I'll be able to answer any comments or questions that you have. So I think this is pretty good for an introduction. So I see some people have already joined. So let's go start right away. So you should be seeing my Tesla screen right here. So if we pull back a little bit, let me just pull back monthly chart. Look at this catastrophe. I'm looking at the monthly chart of Tesla. So one candle equals 1 month. And look at this. We had a nice move up for Tesla. Big move up. After 2 splits, this is the figures that we have. So after 2 splits, we were at approximately $25 right here, and we stayed at $25 for some time. Look at how perfectly this is fitting. This is why I do technical analysis, because the stock chart is moving according to principles. Should I call them principles? It is not random. Because look at this here. You see that, we had a hard time breaking 26.88, 25.67. So here we had a resistance at 25.57. What is the resistance? It's just a line that we draw when a stock gets blocked by that number, 25.67. So it got blocked in June of 2017. It got blocked again in February of the year after at 2018. It got blocked August 2018. It got blocked December 2018, and then it got broken. That number 25.67 got broken on December 2019. So this is what the resistance is. It's just an indication that people don't want to pay more than 25.67. So in order for a resistance to be broken, we need to have people that are willing to pay more than 25.67. So buyers need to be willing to pay more than 25.67, and sellers might need to be willing to sell. So we need the two. So this is what we call a resistance, and you see that once that resistance was broken, it became support. It was broken right here, and then a couple of months later, it was retested almost perfectly, you know, almost perfectly stopped right here at 25.57, but briefly went below, and then it started to go off like crazy. And when a stock goes up like crazy, not coincidentally, we have stochastic over 60. So when we start to lose stochastic over 60, you should be losing faith in that stock. And this is what happened. So yeah, this is just to show that we went super high, and now we are coming back down crazily, very down. Anyway, okay, let me go see on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, this is what this looks like. So we cannot close below 108. So we are in a downward resistance. We are in a downward resistance right here. This is a downward channel, and we are in a downward channel. My mouse is not doing good. We are in a downward channel like this, and until we break that downward channel, we remain in that downward channel. So my belief, my personal way of investing / trading is to not buy a stock when we are in a downturn. When a stock starts a downtrend like this, the best, in my opinion, is to get out at the beginning of that downturn and not come back in until the downturn has finished. And we thought it was finished right here in November. In November, it broke this downturn, but then it continued, you know, kind of in a parallel downturn, a parallel channel. So we discovered that, and we plotted that new double resistance. You know, the first one is here, the second one is right there, and then well, the stock came back into the first channel and started, well, and kept going down, kept going down. So the concept of going long in the stock market is to buy low, sell high, and when we are into a downtrend, each time we buy, we are buying high, because a downtrend means that the stock is going lower. So if we buy again, if we dollar cost average, we are still buying high, because what a downtrend is telling us is that it should be going lower. So we are in fact buying high when we dollar cost average. I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna forgive you if you bought right here, because there was no way to know in advance that there would be a double resistance. As I mentioned, this is what we got. There was no way to know in advance, so it's okay. Not everything works 100% of the time, and technical analysis is the same thing. But with technical analysis, when a stock is in the downtrend, we get out and we don't suffer paper losses of more than a couple percent, 10% max. And yeah, and when you use fundamental analysis, you know, that's fine to use fundamental analysis. You need to have a long-term outlook, but you can have huge swings, like, you know, holding Tesla here when it was at $1,200 pre-split, second split. It was at $1,200 right here, and now it's divided by 3, then it would be around $400 or $500 right here. So that's a big chunk of money, a big chunk of paper profit left on the table that disappeared. And why not cash in? You know. So this is the kind of philosophy we are using here in this channel. It's not for everybody, and that's fine. It's not for everybody, but this is just to frame a little bit the discussion that we are having. So yeah, so downward channel still intact. Sometimes within a downward channel, you will see that we are pausing a little bit and we are going sideways. this happens sometimes when we get close to the support, you know, this line right here, and then we have a plateau and we go to the other side, and then the stock needs to decide, well, am I continuing or am I continuing down? And here we continued down. We had another plateau over here. This plateau crossed a little bit, as we have just explained, and then it went down, went down, went down, and now we have another plateau. So nobody knows. I don't know. Nobody knows, not even Kramer, especially not Kramer. Nobody knows what is going to happen, because you know, because this is short term, you know, this is daily chart, and I would argue even weekly and monthly chart, nobody knows exactly what is going to happen. So we need to just pay attention. So what we do here on the channel is that we pay attention. We don't predict, well, okay, I think Tesla is going to be at 125 in 2 months. Who knows? But we are looking at the pattern. So this downward channel is a pattern. It's just a pattern, and when there is a pattern break, we pay closer attention, and sometimes we act. But here it was okay to act, but it was better not to act, because we act only when we have a stock breaking a downward resistance, breaking a horizontal resistance with a stochastic over 60, and we never got that. So because of our criteria here, we were safe from this little bit of a fluke. This was a fluke here. It looked good. Oh, it looks good. Oh, look at this green candle. It looks great. Yeah, well, it looked great because we crossed it, but we had at 198 another resistance right there. So we never crossed it. So that's a strike right there. And the second strike was that stochastic was never over 60, which is a very important criteria that we have here on the channel. So we only had one good criteria and 2 bad ones. So that was enough not to buy and let Tesla continue down. So right now, what is happening right now? So we need to wait for the rest of the week. So next week, we are going to get 5 candles, and we need to check if we are going to cross this one and cross this one with a good stochastic. If we get that, and at that time, I'm going to tell you also, wait for Tesla. You know, if we break the first downward resistance, the second downward resistance, it's going to be good. Then I'm going to tell you to wait for this one too at 125.43. Wait for 125.43 and wait for stochastic over 60. And then if Tesla breaks all these hurdles with stochastic over 60, then you have the right to buy. Before that, you are forbidden. You are forbidden to buy. I forbid you. So yeah, so let's wait for next week for this. Now let's look at the weekly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart of Tesla for Tesla. So weekly chart, this is sometimes telling us interesting information. So right now we are still on the weekly. You know, the body of the candle is still above 111.42. This is our downward channel. We don't have stochastic over 60. We have stochastic at 9. Extremely low, because we like stochastic to be over 60 in order to get any kind of move. And then if we break 111.42, then I am expecting Tesla to go down to 91. So 91 is an important level. And if we break 91, the other important level will be and I don't know if we are ever going to get there, but it would be at 62 right here, 62.62, so that's extremely low. What could be happening, you know, also when we have a stock that goes down fast like this, you know, this is quite fast. We might have a rebound that will cave into another downward resistance. So I would not be surprised that even if we have a rebound, you know, this is still a nice rebound, you know, this is a double your money kind of rebound from 111 to 225. This is a 2x right here. So if it happens, still be prepared to take some money off the table at around 226, because we have this downward resistance right there that is also going to be in play, and I would be surprised that we just go and cross it like this, you know, because, and this is another principle of technical analysis, when a stock goes down at a certain angle, it tends to bounce at a 90-degree angle. So a 90-degree angle would be something like this. If it does this, then that's a little bit more credible. If it does something like this, this is not credible. This is only short term, and it might do two before we cross that one for good and start going higher again. But what I am telling you is that, you know, it's still nice to catch that. It's still nice to catch this one here. If it happens, it's still nice to catch it, even though you might need to get out of it around here. So what we do on Sunday is that we prepare ourselves for the different scenarios, because when we are prepared, then it's easier to spot them when they happen, and we are in a better position. But in terms of the weekly chart, we have no indication yet that things are going to go up. No indication. Stochastic is at 5. RSI is oversold. Yes, it's oversold. But oversold does not mean that you need to buy yet, because it could be oversold for quite a while. But it's oversold. So all of our indicators are bearish, and what we do here on this channel is that we wait for a bullish signs. If we don't have any bullish signs, we don't buy, because the stock can just continue dropping, and we don't like to catch a falling knife because we might get hurt. So no indication on the weekly, and no indication yet on the daily to act on anything. There, it is said, it is recorded. You can come back on YouTube and see this video anytime in the future. Okay, so that's it for Tesla. We are going to look at the VIX, Dow Jones, S&P 500, and also NASDAQ. So if you have any comments or questions, tell me right here, and I'll broadcast them, and you will be famous. You will have your 15 minutes of fame. Dale Spoonley, thank you very much, Dave. Appreciated. And yes, I need to wish you guys Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2023. I hope that you will. Well, I hope that you will remain healthy. Yeah, it's better to say, you know, I'm more used to give my wishes in French, so I need to translate them on the spot. But Happy New Year. Wish you plenty of love, health, happiness, and prosperity. Okay, let's look at the VIX. So VIX is well, I'm not going to say that it's an indicator. It's a it's kind of an index. It is a chart that measures the volatility on the S&P 500. And when the volatility goes up, the stock market as a whole tends to go down. So right now, what is interesting with the VIX is that since the beginning of December, we are into an uptrend here. An increase in volatility. So as a whole, the markets are becoming more volatile, and so as a whole, they are trending down. So we need to check this. Each individual stock has its own story, and has its own story. But Tesla has a really special story. But any stocks are also influenced by what is happening on the market. In terms of the stock indices, so Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P500, and everything. So this is why we need to watch this also. So we are in an uptrend on the daily chart. So uptrend means that the volatility is increasing. So beware in the market, because if the volatility is increasing, the markets are going down. So be very careful if you want to invest in the market. Maybe this is not the time yet. Yes, we had this little bit of a move up, a short-term, more bullish trend than this bigger, slower trend. So this is a big, slower trend. This is a smaller, shorter, steeper trend. And we got outside of it. So, things were getting worse fast. But now this has stopped. So this does not mean this means that this scary little thing has disappeared, because we are outside of this little bullish trend. But now we are going to go back to this broader bullish trend. So even if we had a good day on the stock market last Friday because of this red candle, so the stock market reacted opposite in opposite. Because we are getting close to this support right here, we could be bouncing and continuing our longer term volatility increase, pushing down the markets. So just keep that in mind. So that's for the daily chart. I'm gonna go on the weekly chart, and then I'm gonna go to your comments. So weekly chart right here. So weekly chart is giving us a longer term view of what's happening for the VIX. And with this longer term view, we can spot different patterns differently. Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. So 35, so we are in a congestion zone. So we are going sideways for the weekly chart of the VIX. It was going up right here, but now it's stabilizing in terms of the lows. It's not going as low as it was here. So this is not super good. This is not super good in itself. And because we are in a congestion zone, what we tend to see is, a zigzag between the two sides. So now we are towards the bottom. The big question is, are we going to continue to that other side? If this happens, the stock market is going to go back down quite dramatically, because at 35, this is a quite high stochastic, and at 35, when was the last time we were at the VIX 35? It was in February, at the end of February 2022. So let's look at February 2022 for Tesla. February 22, yeah. So leading up to February 22, this is what happened. Boom, it went down right here. So as the VIX went up, Tesla did this. So if we have the VIX doing the same thing this time, if we have the VIX doing this, well, we can expect Tesla and all other things to do something like this. Maybe 262, maybe lower, but at least it's going to do something like this. So this is why we need to keep an eye on the VIX, and on this channel we are looking at the VIX, Dow Jones, S&P500, NASDAQ, Tesla every single day. So we know when something happens. We know because we are always there. So weekly chart, it's the volatility is not coming lower than 1906, and so this is not as good as when the market was, 1906 is right here. So when the markets were doing pretty good in 2017, 2018, because they were mostly lower than 1906, then, well, this is not the period we are in. We are above 19 and sometimes going up to 35. So we are in this area here. So everything that we saw in terms of gains in 2017, 18, blah, 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 this is not what we are getting, because we are into a higher congestion zone. So a higher volatility for the overall markets. So this is just something that we need to keep in mind. Okay, let me go to the comments. Well, thank you, CT. Very nice. What's your thought in the short term leading to the quarter? Well, I don't make predictions. I don't look at the fundamentals too much of Tesla, because even when Tesla has been having great quarters and quarter results and everything, and I'm gonna pick this one as an example. Great quarter, 51% surprise earning, 5% surprise revenue, stock went down. Here, 25%, 2%, yeah, the stock went up a little bit. But then it cratered like crazy afterwards. So the fundamentals of a company is not a cause for the stock to behave accordingly. It's not a direct cause. There's a correlation, but people buy and sell on the stock market for a bunch of different reasons. And these reasons can be as stupid as I don't like what Elon is doing with Twitter. I don't like it. I don't think he's putting as much time in Tesla because he's busy with Twitter. This is just this is something that can sound common sense, but is it right? Is it not right? Nobody knows. So in terms of the quarter, I don't really know, and I don't really care that much. I care more about the behavior of the buyers and sellers, and this is what we're looking at here on, using technical analysis. We are looking at the behavior of the buyers and sellers, and those buyers and sellers include the institutions that are buying with robots, the day traders, the shorters, a bunch of people, and we see the overall effect on the market. So in terms of the quarter, I don't know. Tesla is increasing prices in China. So are they having short-term demand problem? Well, if it's so, then yeah, it's not good. Will it have an impact on the on the deliveries? Will they increase their deliveries? Yes, with lower profits. There's so many variables. If you are looking at the fundamental side of things, there's so many variables to look at, and then look at the weight of each of these variable is just infinitely complex. This is why The analysts did not predict that Tesla would be dropping from $1,200 to $400. Nobody saw that. The impact of inflation is juxtaposed into this. The war, Biden. It's just too complex. So I'm sorry, I cannot answer that. I don't know, and what I care about is the trend. Okay, so Thomas, we have a hammer candle and good support at 110 weekly. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to give you that. Yes, on this candle right here, what was this candle? So the low was at 101, close at 113, the high at 118. So yeah, this is a hammer. So yes, we see support. We totally see support. So this is good news so far. So it means that we are stabilizing a little bit. The question remains the same. We had support here. We had support here in November. This is support. It did not last. So the big question is, will this is definitely support. We have 2 weeks of support. Is it going to last? It needs to last 1, 2, 3 weeks. If it can maintain itself for 3 weeks, maybe it's going to continue, and maybe things are going to go better and we can get out of the downward trend. Welcome. Okay, Tesla intrinsic value now is 123 for my reference, which means right now is 9% or undervalued. Okay, sure. 123. That's interesting. I won't use that for my criteria, but it's just a nice information to know. Okay, so let's look at Dow Jones. So we've looked at the VIX, and we know that the VIX, is in a bullish uptrend. Daily, weekly is kind of going sideways, but at the bottom of the congestion zone, so there is a possibility that it goes up. So let's look at Dow Jones. So Dow Jones, we were into this big downward channel on the daily, and we got outside of it, so that's not insignificant. But now we are having a little bit of a hard time because we are into this descending trend. Last Friday we had a great day. You saw what happened with the VIX. So we had a great day right here on Friday, and we broke outside this downward trend. So is it going to continue? That's the big question. When we break a downward resistance like this, without stochastic over 60, there is a possibility that it does not last. So we need to keep that in mind. So I would wait for at least a second candle to see what's happening for next week, and also eventually we need to have stochastic over 60, because one candle does not make a trend. So having only one candle break like this, we could have another candle break back down. So I would not get too excited. This is a great move. But is it going to last? We care about trends. So this is not a trend yet. So we are still very close to this downward trend. So in my mind, this is still into play. We could be coming up and going into this congestion zone right here, because we have support at 32,874. We have resistance at 34,690, and we had that in the past. Support here, resistance here, support here, just a little bit lower, mais. So yeah, the jury is still out on this. Let me look at the weekly chart. So weekly chart wise, okay, now we have something interesting. So weekly chart wise, we have stochastic over 60 right here. So weekly chart, we are bullish. So okay, so this is just changing my outlook a little bit for Dow Jones. We have stochastic over 60, so which means that we are into a, we have enough force into Dow Jones. So this move up here was so significant that even though we are having this move down, we still have stochastic that is bullish, we have RSI that's bullish, we have MACD that's bullish, and very close to getting the MI. So that's significant, because if we are investing on the daily chart and we want to go long on the daily chart, it's always nice to have the weekly chart also bullish. So when we have the weekly chart bullish and we want to get long on the daily, it is going to be a good long. Because we are already riding a bigger wave that is going to push our little wave along. So the move is going to be higher. So this is why we are looking at the weekly chart on Sunday, because it's to see these things. It is to catch those divergence, because the daily chart, is not yet over 60, but the weekly is. So the weekly should be right. The higher time frame chart should be right. So interesting outlook for Dow Jones. Hello, talk like. Thank you very much, and hello, bonjour de la Croatie, and bonjour to you back. So let's look at S&P 500. S&P 500 on the daily. Okay, so on the daily, it's pretty much like Dow Jones. We had a nice move up. This got out. This helped us get out of this downward channel. Just going to adjust my colors. And we have a big, nice move. Let me just, where is this? I just want, there's a feature here that allows me to, style, extend, boom, okay. So nice move, nice big move, stopped at 39.02. If we break 39.02 in the next week and are getting a decent stochastic, we might be retesting the resistance right here, this downward resistance. NASDAQ is still in a downward resistance, contrary to Dow Jones. We still are in the downward resistance right here. So even if we go up to 40.21, let's say, we are still in a downtrend. We should not forget that. Let's look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, we don't have stochastic over 60 yet. So NASDAQ is not as strong as Dow Jones. So Dow Jones is an outlier a little bit in there. And it's better that the three move in synchronicity. You know, it would be super weird if we have Dow Jones going like this and NASDAQ going like this. You know, this is not usually how this works. So so S&P 500 is not looking as good as Dow Jones. And last but not least, let's look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ very close to breaking on the daily. We have nice support at 10,258. Nice support here. We have some resistance right here, this one right here. We are very close to breaking it. We stopped there on Friday. No stochastic yet. let's look at the weekly chart of NASDAQ. Man, we have big support. We have big support at 10,534. Huge support there, and we broke outside. We tried to break outside twice. Once in August, once in November. So we are in fact getting a double resistance here. It's looking pretty close, huh? You know, this one here, this one here. So we are in fact into a double resistance kind of thing. So, but no stochastic over 60. So it's only Dow Jones that is looking very good, but the others are not looking that good. So I would tend to side with S&P and NASDAQ. I would tend to side with those. So that is going to be pretty much it for me. Unless you have other comments, you can mention them right now. So yeah, let me reiterate what I said on the weekly for that daily. This is really steep, and steep things in the stock market don't last a long time. This is steep, so I cannot help but think, and this is pure speculation. It might not happen, but I just have a hunch that it's gonna have to come out of it and bounce at some point, because this is way too steep. Voila, I said it. But I'm not acting. I am not acting on this at all. I am only going to act if the criteria I told you are happening. So fantastic. So how long was this? 40 minutes. That's pretty good. So great. So thank you guys for attending this with me and also interacting with me. I always prefer to have people live, so that I don't feel like I'm speaking to a wall. So I really appreciate it. So thank you for your membership for my members, and you can become a member so that we can do this every Sunday for the others. This was a public, this was a free weekly live. Once a month at the beginning of the month, I do one free weekly live like this. And we just, you know, this is what I consider chit chat. So I spend a bit more time explaining things than I do on my daily videos, because you know I need to crank them out. So I do 2 videos every single day: Tesla as a video, and then a stock index with VIX in a separate video. So I crank those out usually around 5:30 every weekday, and these are free. You know, you just need to subscribe to my channel to watch them. And then here during the weekly, it's more it's not a two-way conversation per se. It's two-way in the sense that you can type and chat with me, but this is basically what's happening. So it's a bit more casual. I don't do any editing. I don't cut the mistakes I make. I cut them during the week, but I don't cut them here. So you get the real me. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm gonna wish you a great rest of the weekend. Last comment. Yes, exactly. We need to be patient. We need to be patient. That's the conclusion. That's the conclusion of this weekly live. We need to see some bullish moves in order to get into Tesla and into S&P500 and into NASDAQ. And the move with Dow Jones was nice, but we need to see some proof that it's going to continue. So the best part of this is that we don't risk our money when it's risky. We only risk it when it's less risky. So have a great rest of the weekend. We are going to talk tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you à la prochaine. Bye bye.